Hello and welcome back to Redirecting. I am going to be talking about a subject that a whole lot of people don't care about, and that is black farming. Right now, black farming is under attack yet again. Black farmers have been on the decline for a very long time for a number of different reasons. But right now, there are some things happening that are so unfair and so wicked, unscrupulous, that you just shake your head whenever you hear these things that continue to happen to our people, even those that are trying. These are people who are saying, look, I'm not looking for a handout. I just want what you're giving everybody else. Anyway, even if you don't care about farming, understand that this is something that's very important for you as well. Because back in the day, our people owned millions of acres, and there were more than 1 million black farmers. But that number has dropped down to below 30,000 black farmers. Did y'all hear what I just said? More than 1 million black farmers has dropped down to 30,000. So that means land ownership has dropped down as well. And so all of that wasn't by choice. Some of it was by design, okay? Although there are those that were by choice. What I mean by that is we've seen a number of documentaries over the years where older black farmers are talking about how their children and their grandchildren are just not interested in the business. They are not interested in farming. They don't see the importance of land ownership or any of that. And so they don't want to carry on the family legacy of farming. We've seen so many stories like that that is very sad, where, you know, one guy, he actually said that he was trying to get his family prepped because he was getting older. He was trying to get them prepped to take over the farm. And they were trying to decide if they were even interested or if they're just going to sell when he passes on. And to build a legacy and to hear your family contemplating on just contemplating on just selling it, that's got to be something very difficult to hear, especially when this is the time to where we need to try to revitalize and have a rebirth of black farmers. This is the time to do it. But our people are not interested in that way. Now, one of the problems is this too. Things have not always been fair. Okay? There's a situation happening right now where black farmers are suing a company. And this company intentionally sold bad seeds to a whole lot of black farmers. And many of them have lost millions of dollars and are even threatening losing their business. So they will do these things. They will intentionally try to hurt your life, your existence, your livelihood, and feel nothing about it. And their attitude is this: sue me, just sue me. That's their attitude. Because they already know that the system is for them. And that even in a lawsuit, that you're only going to get a drop in the bucket compared to what they've earned. Or that you're not going to even reap the full benefits of what you lost. Or you're not going to get anything at all because they pull strings and have loopholes on how to exonerate each other for things that they have done to us. Or if there's a class action lawsuit, they're going to say, okay, here's a nickel for your troubles, Negro. It's really sad indeed that I have to even discuss this sort of thing. But what I want to do is I want to encourage our people to understand, look at the bigger picture. We know people personally who have land that is in their family land that is in the family. And we're not talking about a few acres either. We're talking about hundreds of acres. But it's sitting there and no one cares. It is sitting there and no one cares. It haven't even registered in their mind that something needs to be done with this land. And so we have been tricked as a people into thinking that the convenience that they've dangled in front of our face is far greater and far better than what we can do for ourselves. There needs to be a major rebirthing of the desire to farm land to be self-sufficient, something that we have talked about for years on this channel, because the handwriting is on the wall. It's been on the wall. And when I see the desire shrinking, it really saddens me. Many have the desire, but are not able to do it. But you have those who have the ability to do it, but don't want to. I talked about a brother that is a friend of mine on Facebook and a follower on YouTube as well. How this brother mentioned that he owns a lot of land on the East Coast. And he talked about how he is a black man, in which he's not a bad-looking black guy at all. He talked about how sisters are just not interested in him. He said he's tried and talked to him, but the only ones that show interest in him and his land and what he's doing are white women. They are the only ones that are interested. And so we are dealing with a number of different issues among our people. A number of different issues, because in this brother's case, what is the excuse? He has the land. He already has a very well-established farm. But only white women are interested in him and what he's doing. Now, I wish there was a way to connect our people who have the same mindset in a positive way. You know, because sometimes trying to make connections with people, it doesn't always work out the way you want, you know. But I wish there was a way for those sisters who would love and desire to be with a man like that to actually connect with a brother like that. Vice versa. A positive, righteous way for such a connection to be made, because we are living in a time where it's going to be very necessary that we can do as much as we can for ourselves. And you've got to instill it in your children. This is something we've been instilling in our children for a long time now. If they choose to go in that direction, we are going to be happy. If they don't, I'm going to be confused as to why you wouldn't see the benefit in trying to do for yourself. Because out here in the world, jobs close or businesses close, jobs fade, systems and economies crash. But if you have yourself set up in a certain way, you may feel it somewhat, but not as bad. And so this is something we should all instill in our children from a very young age. Instill in them the importance of being able to grow your own food, even if for no other reason than knowing what is in that food that you grow. That's the main reason. That's one of the most important reasons. Because at the end of the day, when we are at the mercy of people who have already proven that they are trying to depopulate, then it becomes a gamble to even put their food in your mouth. And so I would encourage some of you to do some research on the dilemmas that black farmers are facing today, which are very similar to what they faced decades ago. It's a continuation of the same mess over and over. But research that so you can kind of get a feel for what we're talking about, get a feel for how this system is doing something very diabolical to hurt black farming. And so that we can understand that we have to collectively encourage one another and seek solutions. Even small urban farming is something that should be considered. I shared a story, and listen to this, very sad. I shared a story about a brother who was doing farming in Watts. Okay, in the hood, he is doing urban farming. When I shared that story, it didn't get a whole lot of attention at all. And what that says to me is that our focus needs to shift. We need to redirect our focus, because when you talk about being proud of a brother for starting something as revolutionary as farming in the hood, and you don't hardly get any attention paid to that type of story, even from your own people. But the minute you start talking about celebrity stuff, oh, it goes through the roof. We need to redirect our focus, family. We need to redirect our focus for sure. For sure. And so that is what my goal is here, is to help us to look at the bigger picture of things that we are seeing happening in and around our lives on a daily basis. How do we get an understanding that's going to improve our lives, our thinking, our attitudes, and all of that? How do we redirect ourselves for that? It has to be a conscious effort made. It can't just be something that you're hearing someone do and you say, oh, that's a great idea, and you just get back to your life. We have actually got to put these things into action. Put it into action. Okay, I think I have spoken enough on this issue. Hopefully you will do some research on black farming and how you can even get your hands involved in it, even if it's on a small scale in the hood. Something is better than nothing, family. This is something very necessary that we must do. And with that, I will say, Shalom.